It is 6:30 on Monday, March 9th, 2026. We were going to go ahead and call the regular meeting of the McGregor City Council to order. Please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, next on the agenda is public comments. We have no public comments today. Consent agenda. Consider approving minutes of council meeting held on February 9th, 2026. They were sent out with the board packets. And as I recall, that's how it happened. We have a motion and a second to accept as presented. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. Item 2, discussion and possible action regarding approval of Walker Partners' proposal to provide professional surveying and civil engineering services in connection with Bluebonnet Parkway improvements, Phase 1. Kevin, would you like to address that first, or do we just want us to go straight to?
He knows it all.
Well, Walker Partners appreciates the opportunity to submit a proposal. This project would be for the length between the elementary and primary school campuses, the eastern limits of those campuses to Johnson Drive. And it will be a widening and restriping project to address some traffic concerns, right turn movements into the school campus, and improve the structural integrity of the pavement and widen it some for better traffic movement.
When we get Judith completed, we'll take all the truck traffic off of the piece of Bluebonnet from 317 to the intersection of Johnson Drive. This will be the first phase of 2 phases, I believe, that we're going to do so that we can get it done during the summer and then during the next summer so that you don't interrupt school traffic flow. I've also told Jacob just last week to go ahead and start ginning up the plans and the drawings for Judith Road as well. We're going to have them all anyway, and we are also, thanks to Brian, having a visit with the Space Commission head in Corpus last week. We're going to present a proposal to them to help us with some space roads, if you will, out there, which would mean probably end up meaning Bluebonnet from Johnson Drive all the way to the gated space zones, at least. Try to get as much as we can out of that as well. We've got a lot of infrastructure we've got to get in place, but most of it's roads. And this is kind of the beginning of that. We will be partnering with the school on part of that. What's in front of the schools, they'll also participate in, which is a little bit of the first project and then all, I think, of the second project, which, we're doing it from Johnson Drive there and then from there to 317.
Yes, sir.
They'll have a little bit of the first one and quite a bit of the second one.
All right. Council have any questions about this? I assume that we did review what were provided to us in our packets.
The 214-100 is the proposal would be accepted, correct, Kevin?
Correct.
Where does that sit in the fund for the road projects?
It's in the highway. It's not in the highway fund. It's just in the transportation, the bonds themselves.
Gotcha.
It all comes out of there.
All right, do you have any other questions? I will entertain a motion. motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. Item 3, discussion and possible action regarding approval of resolution R-07-2026, a resolution of the City Council of the City of McGregor, Texas, accepting the dedication of certain property for public park purposes and authorizing the city manager to execute any necessary documents.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. This one's been a long time coming. This is Adeline Crossing subdivision with the developer. There are some high lines that, Angela, can you dim the lights just a little bit? There's some high lines that run right through here, and then there's a fence line. It kind of makes a piece of property unbuildable, and then some drainage on the west side and the north side of the property that makes it unbuildable. So the area over here in red is the land that they want to give to the city. We're mostly interested in this piece down here, but they want to convey all of it. It ends up being about 3.3 some odd acres. There is a portion up here in yellow where they have their monument. They also have a 3/4 inch irrigation meter. That area is going to be maintained by a maintenance agreement between the HOA and I believe it's for a 50-year agreement, but they're going to maintain that. But this area outlined in red is the area of the land that they want to donate to the park.
The strip across the top and the strip across the west side, we already maintain. Those are drainage easements that were obtained before I got here when they did the Indian Trail subdivision.
Is there anything that makes it advantageous to have the 3.3?
Well, it's just all of it. I mean, as Kevin mentioned, we already maintain this section of it. So this down here is like an acre, if I'm not mistaken. But this is already Amsler Park, and you can see the AMA hall is down here, so it's just up to that. So it butts up against the park already. Now we did put a fence up there because just kind of before this project started as a subdivision, we did put a fence up across the backside here all the way across just to show. So we would remove that fence, and then that subdivision would have direct access. And Cassie's expressed extending some walking trail, like the crushed granite walking trail in there, and possibly gives us the ability to do some more things with that disc golf course. But it's already there, so it's just touching it.
It'll make a nice tie into Amsler Park.
So that is Parks and Rec, is that within their scope? They've got
Yes.
bandwidth to cover that?
Yes, sir.
All right, do we have any other questions? If not, I will entertain a motion by resolution number.
Make a motion to approve resolution R-07-2026.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. Item 4, discussion and possible action regarding approval of ordinance O-03-2026, an ordinance of the City of McGregor, Texas, amending the definition of amusement redemption machine in section 6-1 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of McGregor, adding a new definition of gambling device in section 6-1 of the Code of Ordinances, amending the definition of indoor amusement facility in section 6-1 of the Code of Ordinances, adding a definition of game room to section 6-1 of the Code of Ordinances, adding a new section 6-2, amusement redemption machines prohibited, and section 6-3, enforcement to the Code of Ordinances, amending section 6-188 of the Code of Ordinances, and deleting sections 6-189, 6-190, and 6-199 from the Code of Ordinances of the City of McGregor.
I did not write.
Thank you, Brian.
I did not write that. That was your city attorney, Nicola Word there. So this is a rewrite of the aforementioned Section 6, but essentially what we're doing is Waco took the initiative as a larger municipality in the area and made 8-liners illegal within their city limits. So we're just following suit on that, trying to keep up with the ability to contain those and not get a bunch of requests for them. If you look on the cover memo, there is a caveat in there. I cleared this with the city attorney. The state's bingo law does supersede some of that stuff, so I know there was some concern with, like, the Legion has some of these machines. So if somebody is doing it under the nonprofit, the Lotto Commission's bingo rules, then they can do that. But this is for more commercial, for-profit enterprise control.
All right, if you have any questions for Brian on that, please ask. I've already done enough talking on this one.
What we're trying to do is kind of erase the question mark and just stop. They're sneaking them in here, sneaking them in there. How many have we had to shut down? At least 4 in the
Yeah, a
last
couple, yeah.
year. So it's just, we're just trying to get it where it's done and we can move on.
And the city does have the ability to completely blanket say no. That's a Supreme Court ruling that says that it's within y'all's purview to say no to those types of machines.
Yeah, when I came here, you couldn't really do that. You had to play this game back and forth, and it's just a pain. So this kind of puts an end to it, I think.
Just a reminder, when we put something this many changes in it, if we can get like track changes, because we have to go back and compare both side by side, so maybe something with track changes, so just let us better find those in the future. Is that
And
something?
like a digital version?
Yeah, or just, you can print it out, but in regards to tracking so we can identify these changes in the ordinance.
Okay.
Acceptable.
I can get you, well, you can go in Municode and see what we have right now and do a
Yeah.
comparison.
That's what I
That
did.
document was created by the city attorney.
I got you.
Yeah.
We still should be able to.
All right, any further questions? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion by ordinance number. You don't have to read everything that I just did.
Make a motion to approve ordinance O-03-2026.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. Item 5, discussion and possible action regarding approval of ordinance O-04-2026, an ordinance authorizing the granting of military service credit for eligible members of the Texas Municipal Retirement System for the city of McGregor, Texas. Now, this is something that I know that the state already does and the county already does. Why are we behind on, why are we behind on that?
Never really been an issue, don't know that it's an issue now, but it doesn't cost you dollars, but what it does cost you is someone who has, say, 5 years military service may choose to go ahead and retire a few years earlier than they would have normally.
Right.
Now, that said, very often they won't, but it does allow them that opportunity. It would come into play very often with police that also have service credits, but it can come into play just with any employee that has veteran status. So I think it's only fair. The people we compete with are doing it, so we probably need to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, well, like I said, this is something that I already know the state does and I know that the county does, so why are we not doing it? All right, do we have any questions about this one? All right, I will entertain a motion by resolution number.
I make a motion to approve the ordinance O-04-2026. No.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. Item 6, discussion and possible action regarding approval of the resolution R-09-2026, a resolution of the City Council of the City of McGregor, Texas, selecting an elected official of the city as the city's nominee for the service as a member of the governing body of the McLennan County Rural Transit District.
This has to be an elected official. Your prior service was Stephen Dushman.
It was-
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Actually,
My
Sherry-
apologies.
Sherry took over Stephen's spot
That's right.
Yes, I
That's
did.
right. So it's
for his, and Sherry has desired, or shared her desire to
Return.
continue.
There you go.
serving.
Perfect. That makes that easy.
So I will entertain a motion for Sherry Adams to continue her service with the McLennan County Rural Transit District. So moved.
Do I have to do it by resolution?
Uh,
I don't think there is a rest.
Yeah,
Oh, there
you
is.
can go ahead and do it by resolution with,
Make a motion, for the approval of resolution R-09-2026 for Sherry to continue as a member of the governing body of the McLennan County Board.
fantastic. We have a motion. Second. And a second.
That was Alfred?
Yes. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. Item 7, discussion possible action regarding nominations to the McLennan County 911 Emergency Assistance District.
Current, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
Current folks are Ryan Holt, the now new city manager of Waco, and James Devlin. I visited with Ryan last Tuesday night. He certainly would like to do it again. I would certainly suggest that we renominate him. I did ask him about James Devlin. He said James is a fine member, but you certainly could nominate anybody else you want from somebody on the board. Good one might be James Burson. But, that's up to you. James is doing a fine job according to Ryan, but you get to nominate who you want. And you don't have to nominate Ryan, but
Well, James is not here to defend himself,
that's kind of what I was thinking.
And then you say he was,
and he's still on the mend, so,
He came in this morning. He's sure moving slow, but he's gonna be fine.
I don't know, if Ryan and James have both been doing really well in those 2 seats, I don't see any reason to rock the boat on that.
I would agree, actually. It's a fairly time-consuming board, but it doesn't really get to do that much, if that makes sense. It's very technical. Has a lot to do with keeping up the technology.
Well, if council is happy with the 2 current members that are seeking reappointment, I would entertain a motion.
with Ryan Holt and James Devlin.
Yes, but let's, if anybody has any different ideas, let's go ahead and get them out right now.
Are we doing this?
Okay, so I'm mean, I don't wanna sit on it.
I don't either.
All right, so, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion we approve Brian Holt and James Devlin for the 911 board nominations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. All right. Item 8, discussion and possible action regarding approval of an order of cancellation for the general election of the city of McGregor, Texas, to be held on May 2nd, 2026. Once again, 3 members of this council that are up for re-election are running unopposed, so there is no reason to have an election. I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion we approve the cancellation for the general election for the city of McGregor to be held on May 2nd.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. Item 9, receive financials as of January 31st, 2026. Mr. Clump, the floor is yours.
Mayor and council, thank y'all for y'all's time. These financials are as of January 31st, 2026. So 4 months through the year, 1/3 of the way. So it's 33.33% of the fiscal year, and we can see kind of with our bigger funds where those line up. I think the main difference in percentages from what we saw last month is that the general fund revenues, a lot of ad valorem property taxes are coming in January and will be coming in February. So that 43.8% does not indicate that we're going to be over 100% or anything like that. It just means that the revenues are coming in as expected sooner, not just gradually. Anyways, the general fund revenues are at 3.2 million, so 43.8%, and expenses are at 2 million, 27.9%. Utility fund revenues are at 2.6 million, so 38.2%, and the expenses are at 1.5 million, 22.4%. The Exchange Event Center is at 22.8 thousand, and revenues are 11.4%. We'll dig into that number in a little bit. The expenses are at 69.5 thousand, or 34.8%. The airport is at 168.8 thousand, revenues are 34.9%, and expenses are at 98.7 thousand, or 20.6% of the budget. So for each of those funds kind of broken down, the general fund net cash flow is 542,000 higher than the previous year. Revenues are up 230.5 thousand, expenditures are down 311.5 thousand. That revenue increase is primarily due to the increase in property taxes from last year. The expenditure decrease is primarily due to that Waco Industrial Foundation payment of about 300,000 is budgeted in the industrial fund this year, not the general fund as it was last year. Okay. The utility fund net cash flow is 224.9 thousand lower than the previous year. Revenue is up 264.1 thousand. Expenditures are that should say higher. I apologize. Utility fund net cash flow is 224.9 thousand higher than the previous year. Revenue is up 264.1 thousand. Expenditures are up 39.2 thousand compared to the same period last year. The revenue increase relates to an increase in water use and budgeted rates to prepare for the wholesale cost increases. The expenditure increases are primarily due to an increase in personnel costs as budgeted, offset by a timing of larger capital purchases in the prior year. All right, so for the exchange, net cash flows are down 24.7 thousand compared to the same period last year. Revenues are down 33,000, expenses are down 8.2 thousand. This is what we were seeing in that earlier slide and kind of what we talked about last month. The revenue decrease indicates the variance of booking and canceling events, since revenue is recorded at the time of booking and cancellation. So there were events that were booked in fiscal year 25 that were canceled in fiscal year 26. So that by the time the audit comes around, everything is accrued, everything is fine. But then how we are recording it currently, the revenue is in fiscal year 25, but the decrease in revenue is in fiscal year 26. So it makes a net double difference, essentially. So there are some cancellations that are causing that decrease in revenues. There's also, as we've talked about, there's less bookings that are further out. So we're seeing that decrease in revenues, but I don't particularly think that's a concern. I think it just has to do with the timing of when it's recognized and the ability of our customers over at the exchange to rent the building out more in advance. That makes up a lot of that difference there. And again, it was talked about last month, but we're still seeing that in January where it is ticking up. So I think it will come to a more natural level as we move further in the year. Okay. The municipal airport net cash flows are up 5.1 thousand compared to the same period in 2025. The revenues are up 31.5 thousand, expenses are up 26.4 thousand. The increase in expenditures relates primarily to budget increases in personnel costs, in addition to capital expenditures that are going to be reimbursed by the RAMP grant. Those capital expenditures occurred or are starting to occur earlier in the year this year. All right. So here's just a table of all of our funds as it was described in those past slides with the general fund, utility fund, just all of those for your reference. And then here's a little snapshot of our cash in the bank, cash in investment pools. And that'll go into the next slide that we look at that kind of in the big picture. So you see that net cash in the bank is 4.4 million more than the same period last year. Operating accounts are up 7.3 million and pooled cash is down 1.1 million. Grants are down 409,000. Capital projects are down 1.4 million as compared to the same period last year. So that increase in operating, as I believe is due to internal transfers. So we're seeing an increase in pooled cash, which makes sense whenever we look at things like an increase in tax revenue coming in. But that 7.3 million increase in operating is not necessarily a 7.3 million increase in cash. There's some internal transfers, some internal movement going on there that makes it look bigger than it actually is. But the big picture of that is the increase in 4.4 million from the same period last year. And so here's our snapshot of sales tax revenue. So we still have a positive trend line. I was talking at the EDC board meeting about this a little while back. We're showing, if we look just at fiscal year 22 as compared to fiscal year 26, we are seeing an increase just in organic sales growth. Those 3 years, fiscal year 23, 24, and 25, a lot of that had to do with the construction contracts that we had in place. And we should expect fiscal year 26 to increase a little bit as we have our industrial partners in the industrial park start building but it's just, it hasn't been recognized yet as of January. But our trend line is still positive.
EFC plans on scratching dirt this summer, and Messer told me Friday, Messer 2, that they're gonna start, and the word was very soon. So, whatever that means.
Yes, but I do believe that was the last slide. Yep. So,
Does
does
council
anybody
have any questions for Lee? Hearing none. Thank you, Lee.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll be going into closed session pursuant with Chapter 551 Texas Government Code in accordance with the authority contained in Section 551.071 legal and Section 551.087 economic development. Under economic development, under Texas Code Section 551.087, discussion regarding economic development negotiations, including commercial or financial information received from a business prospect seeking to locate, stay, or expand in or near the city of McGregor, and to discuss economic development negotiations and or to deliberate the offer of a financial or other incentive to a business prospect. So we're going to go into closed session at 7:01. gonna go ahead and come back into open session at 7:40. Next agenda item is announcements from the city manager.
I have none, sir.
Item 12, request comments from the mayor and/or council members. Council have any comments? Maybe some slanderous remarks? No? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and adjourn at 7:41.